Did nothing there. Okay, there we go. Whoop.
The A Show.
Where smart is the new sexy.
And now, April Hunter.
Good evening and welcome to the A Show. Tonight, we are very pleased to have Tony Arterburn returning to talk about parapolitics and precious metals. Tony is a three-time veteran from the foreign wars, a former, well, you tell us all about you, because you are, nobody can tell us about you better than you can. Hang on, let me, all right. There we go. Why does it say I can't unmute? Oh, okay. You have to unmute yourself there.
I did not mute myself.
I'm telling you,
love
StreamYard is just so much fun lately. Oh,
you have to be
my
kind of
God.
zen with it. They've changed so much, and I don't know. Half the time I'm like, and every time I log into StreamYard, my screen gets smaller of what I actually see. You notice that?
Yeah. It's like this big on my computer screen now.
I think they're messing with us.
I do too.
I think it's on purpose.
I'll bet you if we paid for the top of the line version, they wouldn't do it.
I don't know. Maybe not. We'll never know, though. I don't know if I want to go.
That's right.
Already pay.
I'm with you on that.
I don't know if I want to double down.
I don't know either. Anyway, I'll do. Tony is a former paratrooper and kind of an expert in the Middle East, right? A veteran of three foreign wars.
An expert. I don't know if I would go so far as to say that I cut my teeth as a young man on being the tip of the spear of neocon experiments, of class experiments in the Middle East, of the Iraq War, and of course the invasion of Afghanistan. And I was part of those. I also did Kosovo, which was Mr. Clinton's war. We bombed Serbia for 78 days in the late 1990s, early 2000s. I was a part of that. So I got to learn foreign policy up close and personal. And so I have a different viewpoint than, say, somebody like Ben Shapiro with his giant eyebrows. I have a different opinion because I've actually seen how all this works. And I sometimes forget who as far as your question on my bio, it's kind of tough sometimes because I'm so inundated and consumed with what's happening right now, which is interesting times. April, it's good to be back. By the way, it's good to see you again. It's been way too long since we've done a show together.
I know. I'm really, really grateful you were able to make time to do this, because I feel like you're the person to talk to, because there's so much going on right now. There's just so much going on right now.
It's everything is going on right now.
It really is. And we decided to do an extra show this week because I think that I see so many people assuming, questioning, guessing, trying to be definitive as to what's happening with a war with Iran. Right now, the date is March 11th, 2026. And I thought, well, you kind of speak this language and you know how to read between the lines. So who better to bring on? So what do you think is going on right now?
Well, as far as our foreign policy is concerned, I think there's probably like Occam's razor. I think it's probably a simple explanation, at least for the brunt of what's happening with like our attack on Iran. I think that is in large part Israel's foreign policy objectives being brought to reality through us. So we're like a conduit for that. I think that's where we are in 2026. Like nobody in the U.S. wants this war, except for some obscure boomers who listen to like Mark Levin or something, or Fox News people like that. Nobody wants this. This is, and they didn't even do a proper propaganda campaign beforehand, which is so bizarre. I mean, the Iranians were at the table. Not that I'm a fan of, you don't have to be a fan of Iran to see that this is just wrong. But we were in these negotiations, and there was a clip from Tucker Carlson today I thought was really interesting. And he said, if it is shown that we did the entire negotiations on, nuclear development, trying to stop them from, getting a bomb, if we show, if it's shown that we did not intend to ever follow through on that, then it would be such a devastating blow to U.S. diplomacy. And I think that is what happened. I don't think we ever had any intent on actually following through with any. I think it was just used as a ruse to build up some of our hardware to strike targets in Iran. Again, it has nothing to do with American security. Pakistan has the bomb. India has the bomb. China's had the bomb since 1964. I think we can live with a nuclear-armed Iran. Not that I want to, but
so you're saying the official narrative of the nuclear explanation is probably not.
I don't think so. I mean, if you go back to Wesley Clark after, I think it's like 9/12/2001, he goes over to the Pentagon. Wesley Clark was the supreme allied commander of NATO, during the end of the 1990s. He was he oversaw the Kosovo campaign. This is a high-ranking general, and he was basically retired at the time, but they told him, hey, sir, we're going to hit, 7 countries in 5 years. And he goes, what? Why? What are we hitting? And they said, oh, we're going to hit Iraq first. He goes, but that had nothing to do with what happened yesterday. And they said, that's what we're doing. So it had, all this stuff has been planned for a long time. You go back to even the mid 90s, Benjamin Netanyahu's been planning this since the early 1980s, late 70s. Actually, this is an operation using the power and might of the United States to serve the foreign policy goals of a foreign nation. And attacking Iraq is in destabilizing that government helps Israel. Same thing with Syria, Lebanon, Libya. Whether you're talking about destabilizing governments in the region, it helps Israel, and that's why. And it's sad to say. I mean, it's not my favorite thing to talk about, but there's no rational explanation why the United States would do what we've done. And I was talking to a really, really close friend of mine, a very smart man. I've known him for 30 years, and he's an oil executive, high-ranking executive in the oil business. And we were in real time watching the prices of crude 2 nights ago, and he said, Tony, this has never happened. This has never happened, and this is something I've never seen. This is so radical, like the changes in the prices of crude. And the Strait of Hormuz is 90% blocked right now. I mean, we had to have seen this coming at some level. And if not, I mean, then we're in worse shape than I thought. I mean, I don't know what the plan is here. It's just really sad all the way around. And it's going to affect every man, woman, and child on planet Earth, because it's going to drive up the cost of energy and the price of doing business. Food, everything,
because everything's linked to oil. And
everything's linked to energy. And we've just made it so much more difficult to extract and to develop. And markets hate uncertainty. So not only that, you're gonna already freak out the markets, which, by the way, are already freaked out.
Oh yeah.
You want to see you want to see what's wrong. I'm in the precious metals business. Obviously, as we talk about this, on my show all the time. It's parapolitics, precious metals. But the prices of metals reflect the insanity. And not that I don't think that metals are worth what they're worth. I actually think they're worth more. But it's the volatility and the rise of the prices has been so insane, April. It's
gold,
so much
silver. It's crazy.
Gold, silver, and it can be up, and then the volatility, the swings. Well, this isn't helping the everyday person. These monetization of silver and gold and the dollar's decline doesn't help people. Like, this isn't good for business. This isn't good for stability. I mean, long term, if you're holding these things, you're better off than the person who's not by a long shot. But I guess I care more about having a civilization and a functioning country than I do about making money at this point. It's so bizarre that I don't know, and I've been studying this for a long time. I don't know that there is a plan other than just chaos for the sake of it.
I have a few thoughts with that, actually. And well, first, I did see something today that they were releasing a whole bunch of oil over, and the UE, I think. I saw something about that today, and I was like, okay. So they still have to transport it somehow, though. And then I saw something about a deal. The United Nations was asking us to humanitarian take fuel over to Cuba to help them, since they have been cut off and they are asking for help. And I was like, that's an interesting turn of events right there. And so obviously the oil and the gas and the fuel is all going to be at play all over the place. But I started digging into last weekend, and I was talking to April about this. Well, Trump has to have a bigger picture in all this. And he's only got so much time to play his cards throughout his time in office. And Israel, what would be Israel's big play? Well, like you were saying, there's got to be something out of all this. And Israel, they're involved highly with tech. And Trump himself has invested highly with tech and oil. And since he got in office, he immediately was going after Latin America, Panama, and all those things. And if you look at all this, for me, I was looking at the transportation of oil, the waterway going in through Latin America. Then Israel.
And don't forget the canals too.
That's what I mean. So the transportation through South America through the canal. So, and Israel is highly invested in Mexico and Latin America in tech ventures. So then when I started looking, I'm like, here's the pieces going together. Well, that would be why they are investing together with America then. In the tech world, this would be huge. It's not so much maybe land grab. It might be the investments for the future. So when Trump's gone, what's going to be left? You're going to have these tech investments in Latin Americas all over the world. There's going to be no stopping that future growth of AI and that part of technology then when the biggest players are involved in that. That was what I was looking at as a big picture. I know, just was curious what your thought might be on that.
It also seems like the development of Latin America in general seems to be a big goal for globalists. I mean, NFL is moving there. It seems to be a global target right now. I don't know. Yes. Am I missing
something? I was just wondering, because you're on a different area than I was just looking at that. I was like, that's kind of clicking to me for some reason, being where there's so much of that. And take away the land grab and the food. And I feel like that's a different plan. Like that's a different jerk offs doing that compared to what this is about. So excuse my frankness for saying that way, but that's different than the Fauci's and the jabs of poison. So what's your thought there?
I think that we had an opportunity to grow our economy like we've never had before. And with this administration, I was optimistic until they started doing what they're doing.
Me too.
It should have been the replacement of the income tax with the tariff or something like that, make it revenue neutral. It should have been a plan. It should have been strategic, except it was like this. It just was so chaotic. And I think that the markets responded with that. And if you go back to the beginning of 2025, a lot of the big vaults for precious metals were confused as to or not just unsure at the same time. Like, what is it that's going to happen if we try to bring our metals back across the United States? So there's this tariff fears. They started clearing out vaults. It created this cascading effect, which is kind of a black swan. And so that's why, again, like August of 2024, I was rolling up to the trading floor in Dallas. I had to go back on my Instagram, and I was like, this is an insane day because gold hit $2,500 an ounce.
Mm.
That was August of 24.
Wow.
And you got to remember, so gold had an all-time high in 2011 of almost $2,000. And from 2011 to 2020, there was no all-time high. 2020, it finally broke $2,000 an ounce. In 2025, it broke its all-time high about 35 times.
Wow.
Maybe more. I stopped counting. So the reason that is because there's just so much uncertainty. And I'm not a fan of if you have a plan that you're sharing a lie or doing some sort of like propaganda piece. So I think it's something else. You should just have policy. And then people aren't taking us seriously. I think there's so much that we could be doing with tech and innovation, and especially with AI and other things. I think with technology and just being able to get information to people, but instead we're dropping bombs on them. And the same thing with Iran. I mean, they killed 177 women and children in a girls' school, like the first strike, first day, right out of the gate. I mean, that comes back to haunt you as a country. I'm looking, I see no upside here. It's all downside. And unfortunately, we haven't even begun to feel like the true consequences of what we're actually doing right now. So I'm not optimistic, although I think like the world is, especially with cryptocurrencies and things like Bitcoin, even the stable coins is another conversation, but just the tech in general with blockchain and cross-border payments and things like there's a monetary revolution that we could have been a part of.
Right.
Instead, there is a monetary revolution, and the world said, hey, we don't trust these schizophrenic people over in the United States because you can't trust them. And they'll sanction you, and that's not fair. And there's the weaponization of the dollar. So the BRICS nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all said, okay, we're going to go our own way. And they are. And it's just taking some time to put all that together. But, for the first time last week, and this should have been on every major news network, and you're never going to hear it. First time, central banks own more gold than dollars.
I saw that.
Wow.
They're buying up the gold. That's part of what's leading to all this craziness.
For years. And what's happened is the gold monetized, and the price in dollars went up so high that the holdings of central banks just started to surpass it. So even though they had dollars and is the number one reserve asset for a long time, it's the rising price of gold coupled with all that they've stockpiled. So that's a trend that I would definitely pay attention to. It's not good.
No,
it's like them getting into the digital coins. And by the way, BRV has joined us as well. Should we bring him on or make him sit there?
I'm a fan of BRV. He can jump on if he'd like, or he usually gives me some really challenging comments in the comment section.
Oh, there you go. I just
this is a surprise to me too. I didn't know he was coming on either. So
hey, Billy Ray,
hey,
you're on.
You're live.
Hey,
how are you?
Hi.
What's going on?
We're talking wars and Israel, and we're going to talk Jewish space lasers, which apparently are true. They do exist.
Everything probably exists.
Financial stuff, what to do, and Tony is here trying to make headway and explain things to us.
Well,
so,
you got the right guy.
I know.
I didn't plan this, Tone. This sort of just kind of happened.
I love it. I like it when you surprise me, Bill.
What's up, buddy? Hi, April. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Are you Miss Ava? How's everything?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Go ahead. Continue.
So what kind of, do you really think it's a pair up of money for Israel and America? Or do you think there's some kind of, it has been suggested, people have said, I don't know, it has been said that we're literally in a proxy for Israel, and suggested that Netanyahu has dirt on Trump and that this was forced. I don't know. These are just people saying these things. They're saying that there's not going to be a regime change. What do you think about all of this?
I would definitely say right now we are a proxy for the interest of a foreign government, and that is Israel. And if you notice, Netanyahu is the one person that Trump never bashes. Like he's never taken. He's never. You can't find the tweet where he's like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot" or whatever, like he does with every single person ever.
Yeah.
So there's a power that they have, and I think it shows through the Epstein files and through everything that's happened over the past. It's been at least 5 decades of this, maybe longer, of the accumulation of assets that Israel has in our government, as far as people that they've turned or elections that they've been able to sway through AIPAC and other things.
They're also the ones that censor our language.
Right.
So if they define anti-Semitic language, if they're the ones that we can't talk about, generally they're the ones that would be the controlling us, right?
Yeah, I mean, Voltaire said that. It's like, if you want to know who rules over you, look to see who you cannot criticize. And that's been pretty apparent. Now, the good news is that we're talking about this, and I think we're not the only ones. The power that they've had in the past is not there. And if you look at, I've been saying for years, like, conservative media in the U.S. is fake. Like I was a part of it. I wasn't very welcomed after they figured out who I was, but I stayed on, different networks for a long time. And they're like, oh, this is a veteran who doesn't want war. That's really weird. Like they would,
none of us want war.
They would pick people like approved veterans, like Dan Crenshaw, who just lost his primary down in Texas.
I know. Wasn't that great?
It was wonderful. It's wonderful. But that's for a long time, that was the approved narrative, and Israel control. Like the first thing that would happen to you if you're like a conservative commentator, you're up and coming, is they fly to Israel, and you got to go, stand in front of the wall and do the thing and get the tour, and then you become like that is something they've been running for a long time. But now that's not going to happen in the future. Like that's something that's equity they're living off of that they've already produced. And like I mentioned, I was making fun of Ben Shapiro earlier. Like these are terrible human beings. Like he's a warmongering liar and has been co-opting conservative Christians along with others just like him, for many years. But his interests are not of this country. His interests are not of the Republic, or for what I understand in my country to be, and tradition and heroes and history. He's about a foreign nation state. Just come out and say it, though, and I think mostly he does. And it's just his listeners, especially like I'm from Northeast Texas. So it's kind of a cultish thing here. It's very idolatry. Like it's like the Israel thing. Like I could never run for office here again because I've already I crossed that Rubicon. So like people are like, it's just it's more important to them than they're like, that's part of their faith. Like it's godlike that this foreign nation state, that's the way they perceive it. And I look at it totally different because I happen to know history. So that and this is just purely man-made, self-interest at this point. It's not spiritual.
History comes back around.
They want us to forget history, and they want us they want us dumbed down and forgetting history, so we're easily malleable and controlled. So it's very interesting, this whole thing. How do you think financially people will be, or rather, I want to say, how do you think people can protect themselves financially at this point? What's your suggestion and prediction? And I'll ask BRV the same question. What do you guys think are the best? I guess what do you think what do you think we should do? And do you think there's going to be, with the open borders, with all the 90% coming through that were military age men, and some of the fuckery we've seen going on already, where it was always white supremacist issue, I guess, with pledging for ISIS. But I mean, with all this stuff, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we have anything to worry about? How do we protect ourselves financially? I know I'm throwing a lot at you. So.
No, I like that. Well, I mean, there's probably not just one solution, but just being aware is the first step. And then understanding like the next levels that we're going to hit are going to be financial uncertainty. There could be potential for insolvency of banks. Not all banks, but it could start regionally or smaller banks. We saw that in the FTX run up after 2022. Mm-hmm. And then it hit Silicon Valley Bank and some of the other things that were, the Fed came in and absorbed them really quickly and took over. But it is, I think, on purpose, they're doing so much of this because, in the chaos of it, in the uncertainty, they can fill that with control. That's my opinion. I think that the dollar is so rapidly being de-dollarized because we weaponized it over the past many years. But we have, I think it's like 45 different sanctions on 36 different countries. That's probably increased. I started using that metric about 3 or 4 years ago, so I know it's probably more now. So they're just, the more the countries move away from the dollar, the less purchasing power your dollar is going to have because it's not backed by anything. In 1971, we went off the gold standard. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons we're in the fix that we're in, is because fiat currency is, which just means by decree in Latin, a currency not backed by anything always goes to zero or some level of worthlessness over time. The average lifespan is about 26 years. We've doubled that because we're the world's reserve currency. So all these, countries stockpiled our currency after 1945, after the end of World War II. And, we use that in trade and everything. The petrodollar, you're going to hear a lot about that in the news because we had that agreement for 50 years with the Saudis and OPEC to denominate oil and petro exclusively in dollars. They no longer do that. Mm-hmm. We didn't fight for it. It's kind of weird. You hear a lot of petrodollar stuff now. I think.
They removed that during the BRICS when they started introducing BRICS, right?
Right.
A couple of years ago with the Biden administration, they just
completely stopped trying.
Yeah.
To hold the world's reserve currency a while ago. So a lot of people are saying, well, this war is about propping up the dollar. I'm not so sure what they're doing. It could be about making things bad enough to where you have to digitize everything and they have an on-ramp through the stable coins, because that's another way you could prop up the dollar, because they're not trying to do it through oil anymore, guys. Okay. They just literally let the agreement lapse in 2024 and never came back. Like they didn't do anything. So it's a weird thing. I thought that was, it's like in Sherlock Holmes, they talk about the dog that didn't bark. And I was like, you didn't even try to continue doing the petrodollar agreement. So there's something else they're doing. And my biggest fear, the sum of all my fears, is they're just stupid and they're just trying to wreck it. I don't know, because
there you go.
Right. You can't figure out if they're malicious or stupid.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, it's like, it's kind of like on Jeopardy. It's like, what is Pete Hegseth? Like, what is that? If you're malicious or stupid, both. I don't know. Like, it's some.
Yes.
Yeah. Something is clearly wrong with this man, or whatever he is. And I don't know, April. It's I really don't want to do like I just saw on Drudge, the Doomsday plane was spotted over California. This is like the nuclear plane that always stays airborne. They saw it on 9/11 too, by the way. It always stays airborne 24/7, so they can, be monitor everything, and also, have continuity of government, the COG, during any sort of catastrophe. But they're running these things, and clearly there's not really an objective other than the chaos, because I don't
Scare
see
people.
possibly, and I don't know.
Well, there was a rumor out there that Iran was going to send drones over to California.
Iran can't project power. That's a Fox News. Like they
I saw
literally
it on a
can't.
couple platforms,
They
yeah.
cannot. And so if you're Iran,
Mhm.
think about this. If you're Iran, you've been hit, right? We killed the Ayatollah. We do all this stuff. I would say
Mhm.
other people. I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
But they killed the Ayatollah, all this stuff. What's your response? Well, you got some drones. You send some stuff out.
Mhm.
If they were to do anything like to raise the level of response, they could get a nuked.
Right.
And they know that. That's why they don't do that. So
Right.
it's really bizarre that a lot of
Yeah,
people.
they have drone factories. Yeah.
Well,
they got plenty
that's
to
another
send
aspect
out.
to all of this. It costs them $100,000 to fly one of these drones. It costs us millions and millions and millions for the Patriot missiles to shoot them down, and then we're running out of those munitions because of free trade for the past 40 plus years. We outsourced everything, and we can't make stuff anymore. So a lot of those, it takes 7 different countries to make a Patriot missile. I've been talking about this for years and years.
That's so silly.
So all the things that were done to us, and we want to wage these wars. Iran doesn't have to. I think they're settling into a war of attrition. By the way, the more the price of oil goes up, if they can export or just move some of their reserves and stuff, their windfalls are going to be massive if they can actually move any of it. And all these other countries around the world that are oil exporters are going to be doing well. I mean, on paper, especially for the price of crude. But let me tell you who the real winner is, April. You know who the real winner is going to be? When you go to the pump and you swipe your credit card, it's the bank transfer fees.
Always.
Yep.
Use
cash.
If gas is $4 a gallon, okay, so that's about 12 cents or so for every gallon goes to the bank, and the operator of that store makes about 5 cents. So you have think of the billions. The billions and billions are going to be windfall profits for the credit card companies. Most Americans don't know that. They just figure that's where I'm doing my thing. I'm swiping my card. But when you do that, and I do it, I've swiped my card. But I've been on the other end of it as a retailer owning gasoline stores, in the fuel business. My family's been doing that in Texas since 1979. So I know a thing or two about it. And that's really who's going to win. So the big banks and the giant lenders have no vested interest in wanting the price of crude to come down. OPEC certainly doesn't. Who does? Us, we the people that voted to have, I wanted to end my wars, bring the troops home. I want a border, not a new world order. All this stuff, it's all gone. Like all that is, we clearly see who's in control. It's really sad. And you asked me how to protect yourself. So start understanding that you can be your own bank at some level. The volatility, understand what counterparty risk is. When you have an asset that has a paper receipt to it, that's counterparty risk. Okay, so if I have an ounce of silver, let's see if I got any silver around here somewhere. I do. I got coins somewhere.
Me too, because I got it from Wolfpack.
Good.
Jeez, I wonder. I do too.
AprilHunter.gold.
Yes.
Yes, AprilHunter.gold. But if you have that, you hold that in your hand, there's no counterparty risk in that. And, monetary metals like gold and silver is a good just place to start being your own bank. I also like things like Bitcoin. But it has to be away from, again, I don't say close your bank account. One of my friends texted me the other day. She was saying, should I close my account? I'm really scared. I said, don't panic. It's just every day do a little something to add to your own sovereignty where you control, the risk of your assets as opposed to being on Wall, with investments on Wall Street or just having stuff in the bank. I mean, the last thing you really want to do at this point is just have like a typical savings account. I really don't understand that. I don't have one. I have reserves if I need to buy metals, and I try to like get in and out of stuff. I think bank accounts can be great, just for convenience, but being out of that system is a good first step.
What about you, BRV? What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on everything that's going down. As far as what to do to protect yourself, that's not my area. That's Tony. What I would say is stack up food and water. That's the best way to do it, and try to set up a network with your neighbors, right? And also beware your neighbors, right? You can't really trust anyone. You can, but you can't. So also be aware of that. Because when crap hits the fan, the more people that know what you have, the worse off you are, right? So there's that aspect of things. I watched The Walking Dead for like 6 seasons. It did something to me.
You know how it can be.
Yeah.
I literally, and I think I've mentioned this before on the show, I literally choose my friends that way now. Like if I can't trust you during a zombie apocalypse, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah. And you got to be able to trust them to shoot you too. It's got to be like, do you have food?
Yes.
Can you hold your own? And will you kill me if I get bitten?
If I get bit, you got to kill me, right? And otherwise,
you got to know who the slow people are around you too.
And then, you do have to have one friend that you can trip. You don't have to be the fastest. You just can't be the slowest.
Man, I hated that scene. Tony, did you ever watch Walking Dead?
Yeah, I liked it for I think like 3 seasons.
The first 3 seasons were epic, right? And then
I think it was good till then, and then I just said, "What are you doing now?" I feel like we're in like America became like season 4 of The Walking Dead, where I'm just like, what's the storyline now?
Right. I watched till about 6 or 7 or 6 or something. And
when Glenn got offed, I was gone.
Man, that was crazy. That was crazy. But literally, like, if I can't trust you. Like I spent a lot of time in corporate America, and people would stab each other in the back for a couple of extra bucks.
Yeah, and
I'm like,
wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, corporate America, they do.
So if I can't trust you there, why are you my friend? When things hit the fan, what are you gonna do for me? Sell me out? You sold me out for 10 cents. Imagine zombies are coming after me. So no, that's one of the things that I do now. Tony's one of my best friends in life. I know he'll shoot somebody for me. Well, a zombie. Don't
you talk about last weekend?
But as far as everything else, I think we give this administration way too much credit. And when Tony mentioned, are these people just plain stupid? That is one thing that we really need to look at and elevate amongst everything else if we want to really explain this, right? There's 2 things, in my opinion. There's the stupidity and the incompetence of this regime. That's not to say that there aren't smart people in the regime, but they don't know what the hell they're doing as when it comes to all of this. And I think Trump is very easily manipulated, and I'll get to that in a second, right? So there's that aspect of it. Actually, let me touch on it now before I forget it. AI was going to happen regardless, right? And there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. Whether it was Biden, Kamala, Trump, it didn't matter. It was going to happen. Of course, this is the techno bros administration, right? With Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and the PayPal mafia and what they were able to do. It's the reason JD Vance is the vice president. That's on record, right? That's their guy. Peter Thiel.
By the way,
what's up?
By the way, if you make a donation for like a charity, PayPal is adding a tip onto that. What the fuck? I just wanted to add that. I made a donation to my friend's cat the other day. PayPal added $6 onto that.
Damn.
Why?
6? I was like, are you kidding? I just wanted to throw that in when you said the PayPal mafia. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
That's
good. It's good. Yeah. So So this was going to happen regardless, the AI aspect of it. So I think somebody mentioned South America and
Latin America,
right, and everything that's going on there, and that's an up and coming region. I worked in sports for a while, and and this was years ago, at least 10 years ago. They were actively, and it's a major sports league, actively trying to make ways in South America. I went down there several times to several countries because they were setting up events down there. They want a global presence. It's the reason Bad Bunny was on the
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right? It wasn't anything else. It wasn't political. It got turned into that. But in all actuality, the NFL is trying to become a global brand.
Right.
They're having camps in Europe, actively recruiting people that I know, trying to work over there for the international aspect of things, right? So it's globalization. Right?
Yeah.
So South America is a part of that. It's a lot of people, right? They're still having sex down there. They're still producing more people, which we're not having here in the United States.
They're still Catholic.
Really? Okay.
That's what's happening. So yeah, they want to go over there and reap the benefits. But of course, there's also the Monroe Doctrine style bullying, for lack of a better term. That is going on with the Don Rowe Doctrine. Now he's revived it, and it's pretty much belongs to the United States, this entire region. So they're going over there and doing what they want, right? They did it to what is it, Venezuela, right? We saw what they did there. They're in Ecuador right now because the Ecuadorian president is a Trump stooge. So they let him go in there to fight, the cartels, right? We're gonna see it in Cuba very soon. They already said they were going in over there.
Yeah. We saw the upset with the Mexican president as well.
Yeah, with Claudia Sheinbaum. Claudia has the Jedi mind trick, though. She has the Zoran Mamdani effect on Trump. Maybe to a lesser extent than Zoran, but she has it. She can calm him down. She has the Vladimir Putin, right? Like if Trump will talk a bunch of nonsense about Mexico, and then he'll get on the phone with Claudia Sheinbaum and say something else a minute later. Like, oh, God, she's a very good lady or whatever. We're not going to do this.
That's what I mean. She'll be like, remember, I'm Jewish and I have pie.
Right, she's Jewish. Maybe she has family in Israel.
I'll call BB if you don't straighten your shit out.
And that's the other side of this. So there's the massive incompetence of this regime, but there's also the government of Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu and the hegemonic rule that Israel wants over that area. And I think that's the main driver of what's going on now. We can look at the other aspects of it that might be byproducts of it, right? They may actually, they're getting oil from Venezuela. I think this is all byproduct. I don't think this is thought through as here's the plan. This is what we're going to do. I don't think there's any of that. I think Benjamin Netanyahu gets on the phone and says, listen, we're going to attack Iran right now, and if you guys don't come along with us, then, and then I think Trump said it the other day. He said it was Jared Kushner that told him, you guys are going to get attacked. We're going to get attacked by Iran. So you have to do something. And he was like, okay, so I did it because Jared Kushner told him to do it. That's the reason we're in this war. So Trump is so easily manipulated.
I'm going to disagree a little bit with
What's
that.
up?
Only because I have family that's involved with all that. With that was overseas for months now, and he was sent over there months ago to help clean the base out of Iran in prep for this. So they knew.
Yeah, I mean, no, this is true. It's been a while, but it's all because of the same thing.
Oh, it may
they
be.
bombed Iran 6 months ago.
Right.
You remember
right.
correctly.
So
right?
the
So
bigger,
this has
the
been going
bigger
on for some
bombing,
time.
they knew this was going to be coming, though.
And even if it stops now,
Right.
if it stops, which I hope it does, it's going to happen again.
Oh yeah,
We
this
have
is not
3 years.
over. Yeah.
Right. So in that aspect of things, I still don't think it's like a grand plan.
No,
You know,
no,
there's
definitely not.
It's just inevitable. We all knew this going in. Well, I can't say we all did, but I
Right.
know Tony and I knew it on America Unplugged. We said it before Trump got elected. There's going to be a war in Iran.
Yep.
I'm not connected to anything. I'm just a guy in my kitchen.
Right. A
And
lot
I
of people
knew
don't
this
see
so
what we
clearly.
all see as a bigger picture of that.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so that's what's going on here, I think, and we're in trouble because Trump was always deranged, he was always sick, but now there's more cognitive decline, and it's evident, it's visible now, and the manipulation is on another level. They can get him to do whatever they want him to do if they say the right things. So a guy like Jared Kushner or Stephen Miller, who is, in my opinion, the king of the United States right now, just manipulating Donald Trump however he wants him to go. Vladimir Putin is another one who gets to say and do whatever he wants to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump just goes along with it. I don't get it. You know,
well, they've been friends for a long time.
Tony made a hell of a point, right? Trump dresses down every world leader. Doesn't matter, right? He will talk all this crap to you unless you're Viktor Orban. He doesn't say a word about Viktor Orban. Not a word, you know? He just praises him till the cows come home. Benjamin Netanyahu pulls out chairs for him. And of course, Vladimir Putin.
I've seen
These
him.
are the people
I've
he doesn't
seen
say
him.
anything about. Or you know, sometimes he says some negative things about Xi Jinping, but he's not really screwing around with Xi Jinping either.
Nope.
Right. So this is where we are. So I think while there will be implications with AI, there will be implications with oil and the dollar and BRICS. BRICS was happening regardless. BRICS would have continued under a democratic rule. It's going to continue. The dollar was declining. It was just happening. No matter who was coming in power, this is not something we can salvage.
They just accelerated it.
Right,
They just-
exactly. The Trump
we're
administration
actually in like
strapped a rock.
2029 right now.
Go ahead, buddy. What's up?
This is like 2029 we're in.
Yeah.
You
They-
know,
you notice
they
that too?
accelerated.
Right.
Yeah, like Agenda 2030 got shoved faster.
They're-
Shoved
They
ahead.
opened up the decade with a bang. Now, you remember what was the opening salvo of the Great Reset decade, as I call it, the opening to 2020. I remember very well because I was hosting the David Knight show on InfoWars. I was the first show of the new decade in the morning of January, New Year 2020. And Trump had just ordered the assassination of General Soleimani, the Iranian. And the hashtag that was coming out, because it looked like, we just kicked the hornet's nest, and the hashtag was World War III. And everybody was, I had a 3-hour broadcast. We covered the whole thing. And I remember how I felt. I was like, they're just going to start this decade off with the blast. And remember what followed. A couple of weeks later, we started getting the news that, there's this lab leak deal that we got to worry about. And it's COVID-1984. And there was a worldwide war. It was the war of governments all over the world in lockstep at war with the people of their countries.
Yeah.
And we had
Have
to
you
live.
ever seen anybody get on the same page like you did with COVID?
No,
Across the board.
No, it was across the board. It was all.
Never saw that before. Never.
It's called lockstep. Remember that Rockefeller Foundation document? And we covered. We've lived through all of this. We have the scars, and if you like, just the mentals, the strain on your psyche to live through the stuff that we've gone through, like the dismantling of institutions, the dismantling of heroes that we had and people we looked up to, and things that we thought were real that aren't real. Just the force and trauma of that is so unsettling. And then we get to this place, and it looked like we were gonna. I just thought I'm going to be agnostic on what comes next, especially for 2024. I thought, well, if we're going to truly open up markets and we're going to do away with the income tax, I don't believe it, but I like this language. And now it's like we're in a run out the clock situation. I don't know if Israel just said, hey, we're not going to get another one of these type of administrations. Let's just run these guys into the ground. I don't know, but they're definitely, whatever it is, it has to do with Agenda 2030. It has to do with the Great Reset, which I'm repeating myself. Those are the same damn things. And
Well, some people know, some people don't know. So it's okay to repeat yourself. And if you want to give a quick summary of what those things are, feel free for the average person.
Well, so Agenda 20, it's the UN agenda for the, there's Agenda 21, and people used to think, well, or they thought, there's like, oh, that means 2021. No, Agenda 21 is this early 1990s, Rio de Janeiro, UN, they come up with this policy for basically remaking the earth under a modernized, eco-friendly, top-down controlled system. It's agenda for the 21st century, not agenda for 2021. Agenda 2030 is the milestone. So they set up these markers. So Agenda 2030 is a marker to get there. And a lot of it has to do with controlling how you travel, controlling what you can consume. We've heard them, they call them 15-minute
cities.
Trump calls them freedom cities. Okay, these are the same things. These are interjected into the same left-right paradigm. It doesn't matter who you're voting for. Agenda 2030 is a way to remake mankind. Now you got to break down national borders to do that. You have to reset power structures in countries. So one of the ways that if you want to be an evil genius,
you also have to take land and get rid of people's homes that are on it to restructure things.
To restructure.
By using, we don't even call them forest fires anymore. We call them wildfires.
Yeah.
That's why they call it rewilding.
Yes.
So this has been on the plan, on the docket for a long time. The good news for us is these people are extremely stupid. Their predecessors were smart, and they made these plans, and a lot of them just ran out of getting more and more heart transplants and more. I mean, they just died off. Like they, what was it? The Prince Philip, who was married to the Queen. He's like, when I die, I want to come back as a deadly virus to help with population control, and he died off. And I don't know if is he COVID? He came back. I brought up that point. I mean, the guy said it, and then right after he died, I don't know if it's a dead man switch or what, but that's the way these people think. And luckily, like their offspring and people that all they have, their superpower is that they just happen to be in close proximity to a printing press of fake money and no morals. So let's think, if you had unlimited money and no morals, you could do a lot of damage. And plus they have like the optics. And, April, you in wrestling, this, like they're doing the same thing with our politics here, where you think you're winning, and like you turn on the TV and you get one side versus the other side. And so much of it's scripted. But I think, the Great Reset, that comes out of Davos. That's the Klaus Schwabian phrase. These are the same people. And everything's 2030, Bill Gates had the vaccine IDs 2030 thing, it's linked up to the Great Reset, which is all of that is the same kind of
digital IDs too, and the programmable money. So if you're not complying, or you say something on social media they don't like, or your medical tests show you high cholesterol, you go to buy meat, they won't let you buy any meat. So, or you want to travel, they cut off your money, you can't travel. So it's all control, right?
Right. It's all about control, and these again, they're working against where we are historically, though. So bad news for them. Like humanity in general, it wants to decentralize. Like we've got the technology and just the time in history. We've been decentralizing for a long time. Even coming out of the Protestant Reformation 500 years ago, and then the American Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, the Tech Revolution. And you can see all over the world, smaller nations wanting to break away from larger ones, like Scotland and the Catalonians in Spain and Hong Kongers. And that's something called ethno-nationalism, right or wrong. But that decentralization is what we're doing, especially things with like Bitcoin and having our own money. But the powers that be, these vampiric, like old white guys, or like, they want to, like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, like they want to blot out the sun, and they want to control how everything that you do with, like Bill Gates with his man tits, like that's the kind of guy that wants to
tell us health.
Tell us health,
Tell us all about our health.
Yeah, all about your health. And but the good news, like nobody's buying that. Like nobody wants any of that.
But Bill Gates, man, to that point, I forget that he's telling us about our health or whatever. And you know what? to that point,
he looks like a pile of lumpy mashed potatoes. Seriously.
Even worse than that, he was in the Epstein files asking Epstein for antibiotics.
I know.
Okay, because he caught a sexually transmitted disease from a Russian hooker.
Underage girl and gave it to his wife.
Yes.
Yeah, and wanted
Disgusting.
to force his wife to take
Disgusting.
the antibiotics without her knowledge. Yes,
Incredible. I can't believe that. Disgusting.
That's a classy guy, and this is the same guy that has convinced people. And I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people. All of a sudden, it's like they don't remember history. All of a sudden, they're brainwashed and think they have to vaccinate for others. When in the history of humanity have you ever vaccinated for anyone but yourself? You don't. Yep. Nobody has to vaccinate for you. You don't have to vaccinate for them. My umbrella works without you using your goddamn umbrella. Your umbrella works without me using my goddamn umbrella. Get some fucking sanity, for fuck's sake. Okay? If your vaccine doesn't work, that's your fucking problem. Take it up with your fucking doctor. Don't make someone else vaccinate. And it's all part of the agenda. Sorry.
Shit, April.
I like it.
Don't get mad at people, and definitely don't sit there and politic. We had open borders, wide open borders, with people coming through unvetted, unvaccinated. At the same time, the government was locking down Americans because they didn't want to get needles in their arms because they had questions, and they weren't allowed to ask those questions. They were being censored if they even tried to ask questions, and censored if they said they had done it and had issues. They were being locked in their home, fired from their jobs, told they can't travel, and simultaneously they had the borders wide open with unvetted people coming through who were unvaccinated, and nobody was allowed to point that out.
And now all those people,
and they were mostly all military age men. And now where are we exactly?
So that leads me to
the
questions.
Military age men thing is not really true.
You don't think so?
It's not. Well, there's no statistics to really back that up. I mean, no legit ones anyway. There's tons of women that came over too, tons of them. There's a whole district here
Military age women
of Colombian prostitution.
Maybe, are they military age women?
What?
You know, so it wasn't all military age men. That's John Birch Society style propaganda that was thrown on people in order to.
I'm a member of the John Birch Society.
I know.
Be nice to me.
We're working on it, Tom. We're working on it.
I'm going to take some antibiotics. Hold on, I'll be right back.
So I have a question, since you're talking about the people that came over, all right, for open borders.
Yeah.
Tony, I don't know where you live now. You said Northeast Texas,
right?
All right, so you're still in Texas. And BRV, I know you're in New York. So all these people in these so-called cells that might be out there, and they're saying it might be activated with all this going on. And then BRV, what happened last week up there in New York. What is your thoughts? Are we going to see more of this like activation, or people that might jump on the bandwagon, in your guys' opinion? Like, for instance, unfortunately, those people are from our hometown, April. I don't know if you know that.
I knew that. I saw
They're
that.
actually raiding by my sister's house right now. There's all those homes, unfortunately. But they're illegal immigrants. Yeah. So what's your guys' opinions on that, being it's in New York and
what happened last week? What are you referring to?
The homemade bombs that went into New York from over Pennsylvania.
I guess
from Mamdani's office? Is that what you're talking about?
No. There was a pushback against Islam, a protest, which, everybody's pushing back against Islam right now. So two guys traveled from Pennsylvania to throw bombs at the people, basically. And the timing, the irony was, it was a classic definition of irony, because there was somebody there who was screaming at the protesters saying, we should allow everybody in. Everybody has a place. And the bomber pushed the guy down, used his back to vault off of him, and threw the bombs at the people.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty done in a shitty way, but the type of bombs they made were very similar to bombs that had been made before. And anyway, they were claiming ISIS and all these things. And
and then they yelled Allah Akbar at the same time.
All kinds of stuff. So
the demonization of Islam has been going on for quite some time. You know, when every time they talk about like terrorism from there, it's Muslim terrorism out of Muslims. You know, they just want to throw that out there to demonize actual Muslims. You know, and I have a serious problem with that. I know so many Muslims. I work with Muslims. They're fantastic people. And most Muslims wouldn't do anything like that, right? So I think it's a whole weaponized thing. To that point, with everything that's going on now, I think it's inevitable. You're going to see something pop off here in the United States. How else are they going to push back? So either it's going to be organic and it's going to be real, or it's going to be a false flag of some sort. And then we got to start thinking about who pulled off the false flag and why, right? These are all possibilities that we can't rule out. There's also, I would offer a third possibility, and I spoke about this with a guest that I had, Jeremy Roshka show on my show on Guerrilla Underground, and we were discussing the possibilities of all of this. And I am of the belief that at this point, you may not need false flags in the classical sense, because people are already programmed, with all the everything that's going on, the rage baiting, the tribalism, that they're going to pull something like this off. It's still coming from an external source. It's just not as direct, in my opinion, but the direct one is still a threat given who we have running the government. And of course, with the Mossad and it's just, we can't rule anything out. And we are sitting ducks here in New York for something to happen. It can happen at any time. Any of the major cities here in the United States, it's a problem. We need to look out for it. So yeah, I'm not concerned per se, but I'm aware, and when my kids go to school in the city, I tell them, I'm like, hey, be aware, keep your eyes open, no matter what. One of my kids goes to school right by Times Square. I mean, prime real estate for something like this to go off. And the Iranians are very proud people. They've been pushed around by the United States for quite some time. I'm not whitewashing what Iran has done, right? And we have to state that, because otherwise people are like, oh, you're saying that Iran is innocent or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that in order to push back, they're gonna start using tactics like this. At least I think so, right? I think it's the common next step, and whether it's organic or it's a false flag, or it's due to the propaganda and the outrage, that's still a high percentage that something's going to go down at some point. And what I fear the most is when it goes down, and it might be a matter of when, not if, right? When it goes down, what is that piece of crap going to do? How is he going to capitalize on that event? The people that are running the nation right now, right? And how are we going to be shut down? Is it going to be close to one of the election cycles? All of this needs to be, because he's already flirted with it. If Donald Trump is saying it, he means it. Is he going to pull it off as something completely different? Is he going to be able to do what he's saying? But you better believe that he means it. It's in the back of his mind. So if some terror plot pops off and they blow up the MetLife building or some nonsense like that, it's going to be martial law. We are screwed at that point, right? It's going to give him the rationale that he needs to pull something like this off. And there's a lot of people in the alternative media that say, oh, well, we've been talking about martial law for so long and it hasn't happened. So now what's us to think? What leads us to believe that it's going to happen under Donald Trump? Well, it already happened once under Donald Trump. Remember? Do we remember? It was soft martial law, but it happened. We were locked down for months at a time, killing middle-class businesses that we'll never see again. We couldn't go outside. We had to wear masks. What do you call that exactly? I mean, we can kid ourselves about what it was, but if we're going to be real, it was soft martial law. No tanks down the street, but we weren't allowed to do anything. We policed ourselves pretty much. But the next step of this, I do not trust these people to handle it appropriately. They're going to handle it in a selfish manner. I don't want it to get there. But if there's a terror attack, it's going to hand him the rationale that he's been wanting to have all this time. And I'm just afraid. So this stuff is there.
Well, I mean, hasn't every religion been demonized? Whether it's Muslim, Jewish, Christians, definitely.
Jews, yes. Christians,
I'm not.
Right.
I mean, Christians are demonized and persecuted as well. That's all of them. So, I mean, it's, No.
I'm really not looking forward to the Wiccans coming over the border. They're going to do
Tony.
Oh, it's our time. Bring it
on. Huge fan of Wiccans.
They're here, Tony. They're already here.
I know a
That's
couple
right.
of Wiccans. They're very cool.
I know
Some of
cool
you guys
Wiccans.
are not worth wasting the herbs on. I'm just going to say.
April, you know Michael Jargo, right?
Huh?
You know Michael Jargo.
Do I?
He's in Hameen Media. I don't know if you know him or not.
I might tend to see his
He's
face.
a Wiccan. Yeah. So
Okay.
there you go. Go ahead.
I do think that you have a point there, and so you've had this. The border, it kind of exposes everything, like what's happened with our border, that we don't have rule of law there, that we've had, the duopoly, both parties, the power structure. Supposedly, the Republicans want their cheap labor and illegal alien maids, and the Democrats want their future voters. That's the simplest explanation, but it also is the great truth teller. The border after 9/11 was not closed. We didn't do anything about border security post 9/11. That's your tell that we really didn't think that 9/11 was what it was told to us, like the official story. Had that been real, we would have done something about it. And all you need to really do is go Google dancing Israelis and go see the Fox News report on that. And that from 2001 with Britt Hume. But we didn't do anything. And same thing with COVID-19 before. We did not do anything about the border. And so you were, forced to do things here, get medical experiments injected in you and all this stuff, to go to work. And, it was like Billy was saying, it was soft martial law. Like, well, we didn't exactly order that, but these corporations who want to get money from us, they definitely need to do this to enforce it. All that stuff that happened. And we remember the mind games and the psychological warfare that went on, but the border was not ever touched. So that we could arrive in 2026 and have all these. Remember what Donald Rumsfeld called it? He was like, what did he call it, Billy? We have known knowns, and then we have unknown knowns, or something like that. No,
that's exactly what it was, I think.
Unknown unknowns, right? There's like this. His logic on this was pretty masterfully deceptive, and maybe even self-deceptive. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. But that's what Rumsfeld said about, all the possibilities, the terrible, what Churchill called the terrible ifs. So if something does happen, what I fear is that clearly the powers that be want us in a war. They're going to get a damn war, and we should be blaming them. And, how the mere fact that the Muslim world has been, think about Madeleine Albright going on TV on 60 Minutes in the mid 90s and talking to 60 Minutes and saying 500,000 Iraqi men, women, and children died because of our sanctions. And she said, when asked if she thought it was worth it, she said, yeah. You can go back and look at the interview. So if you're in the Muslim world and you go, wow, 500,000 people, genocided for the power structure to, do oil for food or sanctions on Iraq. And that's just a small piece of American foreign policy. So it's really bad. Discernment will be so important. And I don't know if we have much left anymore. People want to do clickbait journalism, and especially people in alternative media now. It's gotten so dumb. It's gotten so dumb. Like we're dumbed down. Like I think some of the most watched videos are like, did you know that this guy is really this guy? Like I've seen these.
Bad.
It's so bad. It's so dumb. And people like, oh, did you know that all of history was completely made up? And I'm like, what now? Like, no, all of it's fake, from the Romans to, I go, are we really doing this? Like, so somebody made everything up ever, like to do what? And then, so I have to hear this all the time. And there used to be real journalism, and most of those people are dead. So
I feel
they're
bad
imprisoned.
for the people in journalism now that got into it and can't do anything with their career now.
Well, that
because
it doesn't have an audience.
Down,
Well,
yeah, because they're also using AI to do the articles.
Yeah,
I got out of
that's
school.
really
I got my degree, and they're like, oh yeah, most of these places are all using. They've moved to full AI to do the articles. So
really sad.
It really is. And somebody, CS Almanac says over here, to a point we made earlier, he said it's not forgetting history. It's the last 20 to 30 years of younger generations not even being taught history, probably for this very reason, to keep society ignorant. I'll tell you guys something too. I lived in Canada part-time, and I remember the first time someone told me about Japanese internment camps. And I was like, I had never heard of that before, ever. And the Canadians, and speaking of, you were talking about seceding, Alberta is one of those, provinces that wants to leave Canada. So I remember them saying, you don't know about the Japanese internment camps that your country did? I was like, what? I'm like, no, that can't be true. What?
Yeah.
We would never do that. We're America. Well, it turns out we did that.
Oh, yeah.
So
that
was
you down
one
a
of the
rabbit
first,
hole, didn't it?
Oh my God. Yeah. And then I started just going down rabbit holes like crazy. If something like that doesn't do it, and then like if you raise your own chickens and you start wondering why the egg yolks are so orange and why they taste so good and why the stuff at the grocery store isn't like that, that's what turns you into a conspiracy theorist right there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And rightly so. I mean, you should be thinking, and it doesn't fill the interest of as many people as I would like real information.
Mm-hmm.
It either has to be completely dumbed down and sensationalized, or like on the other spectrum, just a complete fabricated lie to make you feel better. And we're somewhere in the middle. I've been with Billy for many, many years now. We've been slugging it out, trying to make sense of things. And I think, do we have the same amount of followers we did 5-6 years ago, Billy, or less?
Slightly more.
Oh, okay. Slightly more.
Right.
Yeah. Good for you. Yes.
Where do they find you guys? Tell us.
Slightly.
Yes.
Well, we do a show on Saturdays with the legendary Donald Jeffries, who wrote Hidden History. He is the third of our hosts on America Unplugged. Mm-hmm. We do a show on it's on Rumble, it's on X, on my X at Tony Arterburn, at Don Jeffries over there on X. You can follow the podcast channel. What is it? AmericaUnplugged.com too, right?
Yeah, it's a good show. I've been on there before.
Yes,
I'm partial, of course. I'm partial,
yes,
but yeah, it's
you guys should come back. Good. At some point, you guys come back and we'll have a discussion.
I would love to. So I know it's difficult to have a podcast now. Like during COVID, it seems like everybody and their mother and then their grandmother too started having podcasts. So it's difficult to build everything that, you know what I mean? It takes a lot of work too.
No, I love podcasts, and I love the fact that it's still, I mean, you have to work a lot harder when you're not sensational, or if you just, you're doing real journalism or, real analysis, but it's worth it, so I do my shows. I'm hoping that, my son will go back through the archives one day and say, well, the old man was kind of crazy. He was right about stuff. And then he'll see that you're kind of doomed. You might be right about stuff, but it doesn't help. And and people, that's not what anybody wanted to hear. And by the time the prediction comes true, they've moved on.
Yeah.
So you're not really relevant. It's like, what's next? I'm like, well, that's not going to go well. Oh, shut up. It's going to go great. Here's this guy again. I'm tired of hearing about gold at 5,000, sick of this guy.
There's a theory out there, and I don't know if this is true or not, and I guess none of us would, but there's a theory that we are currently in the dismantling stage of the world, basically, that to get to a better place for humanity, whatever that might be, that all of the things have come to light, that all of the things that are happening now, you know, whether that is all the corruption, all the bullshit, all of this stuff, that we have been living under a happy delusion that the life that we have led wasn't actually real in a way, because what was happening, it was still happening. Like,
Sure.
So all of these things coming to light have always been going on for, you know, decades and decades and decades. We're just seeing it now. So with all of these truths coming to light and more people opting to say, I don't want to be a materialist. I don't want a complicated life. I don't want to live in debt. I just want to live somewhere and grow my own food. I want to be left alone. That more and more people say, like I said, it could just be my algorithm, but they're saying that this is the dismantling and the truth that has to come to light before we can get to more of a collectivism or collective consciousness, where we realize that we are all together. We are all one. What is your thought on that? I know it seems like we're going through a lot of gloom and doom and war and everything else right now, but historically, and I know you all both know a lot of history, historically, we have all gone through, and I say we all, but I'm just saying, even our age group, we've gone through hard times, and we have also seen our parents and grandparents go through some really brutal, they've told us some stories, and then things got better. So what, I mean, when things are hard, they tend to, eventually we get through it. So, and sometimes it's really hard to see that light at the, you know, through that tunnel when it seems like it's dark, it's dark, it's dark, it's dark. I don't know. Is this something that could be considered?
I think it was Mao Zedong who said it's always darkest just before it turns pitch black. It's bad when you're quoting Mao.
Dark humor is like food. Not everybody gets it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with you. I think that this is the apocalypse. That's what I say on my show. It's the official broadcast of the apocalypse. It's from the Greek. It means the unveiling. And we have been living parallel to this true system that's been harvesting us, whether it's our dreams, our love, our hope, our energy. That's the materialistic. And I don't have all the answers. This is gut level.
I like that word, harvesting.
I think that we've been harvested.
Like batteries.
So I think that we're farmed. Like, I think that from being a soldier, I see so much of the ritual built into the wars. Like, you take like really patriotic young men and women who have beautiful souls. They just want to protect, and then you get them killed or maimed or make them do horrible things in a war that has nothing to do with protecting their family or their freedom or anything else. It makes the world worse. And I was part of that. And like, it's a stain. It's on you. You never really get to get it off of you. But I think this is what's being exposed is good. People will deny it and will try to run to like man-made, saviors that we think are going to help us, and they won't. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. Don't put your faith in man. But I kind of sit back sometimes and I realize after everything I've read, everything I've experienced, is that this is God's simulation. Like, if you believe in God, he made the simulation. Like, you're in it for whatever this reason is. In my opinion, I don't have any direct knowledge of this. God does not talk to me. But I would say that at the end of the day, I think that we're going through all these trials, and I think that certain tests and other things are revealing who are the good people. Okay, who are the people that are going to advance humanity or advance just decency in life? It doesn't have to be a certain race of anything or belief system. Just, do you promote life? Do you want to protect the innocent? Do you want to help people innovate and create new ways to make life better for all people? I don't understand why we're not doing that. And when you kind of boil it down to, I had this thought years ago. I was like, so the people that have all the money on the planet, they could just end most of the problems by not supporting the things that cause all the problems, but they continue to do it, which means they want it, right? Which means they want it. So, I mean, you and I, but like if we were all like multi-billionaires on this panel, like we would know enough and have enough connections, you could start like a chain reaction to change the world, but none of those people ever do. That's the tell, is that there's something, you know, and
because they're the evil energy.
Because they're in love. Like I have 3 businesses and I'm not in love with money. I need money to pay bills and I have a great team and everything. But like, I can't imagine like if you said, hey, Tony, we can 100x your business. I'd be like, why? Like, what is it? Are you going to buy me a better steak? Are you going to get my dog Beans a better collar? Am I going to have what am I getting better, you know, for that? What is it that you want me to do with that? And believe me, I've been studying business and I study money all day long. I have no problem with it. I just have a problem. I don't really understand anymore, unless I thought I used to, like, look, get as big as you can. No, I think there's some club that you join and they give you a card. They're like, hi, congratulations. You reached $1,000 million. You're officially a billionaire. I need you to go on camera and say we need 96% of the population reduced. You know, I need you to go say that human beings need to be wiped out. I'm like, what? Like, is that a thing? But it's not the same world. Entertainment's never going to be the same. Politics will never be the same. You know, it is the great unveiling, and I think it could be very positive if we can keep our sanity.
Right.
Yeah, and if there's some, I feel like there's more of us than there are of them.
Gosh,
And
so.
I feel like they spend so much energy and time and money and propaganda and media trying to split us all, whether it's politics and race and nationality and religion and everything else, that they keep us fighting and hating each other while they're just globalists are just getting richer and richer and richer and richer. And we're getting more and more frustrated and angry and sicker. Whereas there's way more of us than there are of them. So if we actually all came together to some form or fashion and decided that, hey, you know what? Humanity matters. We're going to start treating each other well. Golden rule, you know, just live by the golden rule, regardless of who you are. If we all started doing that and we put that vibe out there, because you all know that vibe when it's a shitty vibe. You walk into a room and you can feel that anger, hate vibe. We can all feel it. And we see it across social media now. You get on X. I love X, don't get me wrong, but you can feel it across X. I don't know if your algorithm's like mine, but it's just like everybody's so angry.
Right.
And you can feel it when you walk into a place where it's a good vibe, you know? So if we could somehow change that bad vibe virus to like a good vibe virus.
I like that idea.
Like, you know, then spread that good virus. That would be kind of cool.
That would be.
I don't know.
You can't do it like Bill Gates and put the antibiotics without them knowing.
Could we force them? Could we force them?
You have to change
take
yourself.
Force them to take the shit. You know what I mean?
You have to change yourself. I think that's the key. Like I think
you're
I'm not
right.
part of any political organization. Not really. I mean, Billy exposed me as being a John Birch Society member, but that's you exposed it. You exposed it, and he just doxed me live on April Hunter's show.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I know.
You doxed yourself.
I know. I doxed myself. It's just something I have to do once you go that far, Billy.
I think most people are like you. I think 51% of America is a moderate, and they just don't want us to know that. But from what I can tell, from what I've dug in and researched, the overwhelming majority of this country is some form of moderate. They might lean right or lean left, but they're still moderates. And
most of us just want to have the opportunity, like, can we build something or just have a peaceful life? Can I have a garden? You know, can I look forward to a trip? You know, can I afford to go out to dinner? You know, can I leave something for my family? Can we have peace? Like we fight all day to provide and do other things for yourself or for your family. And then you add on this insanity onto, which is totally unnecessary. So you add that on top of it, plus the volatility, plus, you know, you're watching, you know, normal people have no idea that your savings are vanishing. Whether you look at the numbers are the same. Like, oh, I've got $30,000 in savings, you know, good for me. And good for you for a minute. You know, that's not the same as it was 3 years ago or 5 years ago. Purchasing power diminishes because they're about to hit that money printer is about to go burr. Okay. They're going to hit this thing. And when they do it, it's going to be the big one. Like they're saving whatever that like golden parachute moment for all these like Wall Street criminals and all the people in politics, like they're going to hit that money burr, and you're going to get left holding the bag of like, oh, well, my dollar's not worth what it used to be, and I do not like carrying that news. Like it doesn't make me happy.
Wise with Gold, aprilhunter.gold. Put your money in gold and silver.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gold and silver is a good place to start. I mean, Billy mentioned something earlier, just, having being able to get clean food and water, think about that. Just have plans, like just take more of the responsibility of, your own safety and your own financial. And gosh, I have to do this every single day. Like, it's not like I've really got it figured out. Like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I gotta, how am I exposed here on any of this stuff? How do I ensure that my businesses function and I can do this or that, or I can travel, So it's something I have to do every single day. But that's the lesson in all of this is self-sufficiency and then working with other people that are like-minded. It's not the answer is not in Washington, D.C. If the Tower of Babel is falling over, don't try to go prop it back up. Okay, just let it fall. Let it go. Let it happen, and we can pick up the pieces later.
How about you, Billy?
Well, I have a bit of a different take. Surprisingly,
Okay.
Surprising.
I am shocked. I am absolutely shocked.
I don't think that we are in an unveiling phase. I think we're just being moved to a different part of the delusion. It's we're still under mass delusion. It's just, we're seeing some things, quote unquote, exposed, but it's leading us where exactly? What real answers are we getting? They're leaving enough open lanes for people to make up their own minds and grow a new crop of conspiracy theorists based on the most recent Epstein drops per se. That's going to wake up people, quote unquote, like they were woken up during COVID, right? Or during QAnon, right? When that whole new crop of conspiracy theorists, which is what we're dealing with now, that pretty much came up from 2016, 2017. That's the people that have been infiltrating social media and all that. Well, I think it's going to happen again, or it is happening again, given what's gone down with Epstein and everything else. So it's moving into another part of the delusion, right? And that's fine. That's cool. As long as we understand that we are still under a delusion, it's fine. It's going to get better. I think it has to get better. Just like you said, April, at some point it does get better. It will get better, but it'll never be the same. It's going to get better, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And our generation is going to have a hard time. Well, older generations than us will have an even harder time, but our generation is going to have a hard time adjusting to what's coming. But we need to adjust. We need to adjust. Our kids won't have a choice. They're already there. They're already there, and I think that, being human in the way that we know and recognize, even now it's very different, but if you want to homestead and you want to, grow your own stuff or whatever, it's going to be a novelty. It's going to be smaller and smaller and smaller, but that will allow the people that continue to do it to have something to offer, right? Because people are going to want to come see it as a novelty, and some people will take it up as a lifestyle, but it won't be the norm. The norm is going to be, you will own nothing and love it. That's going to be the norm. We talk about it here. And first off, like that entire thing, that wasn't even a policy. It was a story that was drawn up. But it wasn't even Charles Schwab. I mean, Charles Schwab.
Yeah, I say that too. Oh my God, I thought I was the only one who said that.
Charles Schwab, that did it. And
I just call him
gets all the
Schwabi.
credit for it, but it wasn't even him. But it turns out that that's what the future is going to be.
Yeah. Do you know what I saw the other day?
What's that?
I saw they don't even want us to buy computers anymore. They want us to rent computers for $150.
Nothing is ours. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But tech support is at your beck and call 24/7.
But people are going to love it, and they're not going to know any other way to live.
Wrong. There you go.
People are gonna love it. People are gonna love it. So it's going to get
Wrong.
better, but it's going to be different. We're not gonna love it, but our kids are, and our kids' kids are, and all of this is going to change. Listen, like it's people don't want to hear this right now. We're talking in front of computers right now. We're talking through the internet. This didn't exist 40 years ago to this level. If people from there, they were transported here through teleportation or something, like, what is this? Where are you guys living? It's the same thing that's going to happen. The technological revolution cannot be stopped. There is nothing we can do to stop it. And we shouldn't be puritanical about this, in my opinion. We need to work with it. We need to figure out how to make ourselves better along with the AI. How is the AI going to work for us? That's what we need to do. We need to work within the machine in order to make ways in the future. If we try to work against it at this point from the outside, it's not going to work. You can try all you want. You can go ahead and say, oh, Billy, you're an idiot. Billy, you're such an asshole. Billy, you're so stupid. Go ahead and try it. How has it been working out for you so far? Tell me. Right?
The only thing that's sure in life is change. I don't even know if death and taxes are definitive anymore, but change.
So change it will get better. It's going to get better. It has to get better, but it's going to get a whole lot worse before that happens, right? And when it does get better, don't look to recognize where you're living. It's going to be totally different. Mm-hmm. We just got to figure out how to live within that system and be able to preserve our humanity and do what's best for our progeny as a result. That's what we need.
I think about something you said on the last time you were on, and you said, I said we were going through an awakening, and you said, are we? You said, is it a real awakening, or is it a false awakening? And I think about that all the time, and I still don't have the answer, but it's something that I think about. So, it's one of those things you open my mind to pay attention to that.
Man, unfortunately, April, man, like when I went through this awakening, quote unquote, a little bit before everybody else went through their awakening. And it was because somebody smacked me in the freaking face. I hit an iceberg. It was hypothetical. It didn't actually smack me in the face, but with the information that they placed in front of me, it's like, oh, I'm being totally controlled. And I thought I wasn't. Oh, that's what's going on, right? So there is no awakening when we're being fed information for the awakening from the people that are controlling us in the freaking first place. Mm-hmm. So how are we going to awaken? To what exactly? So we have a long way to go. I don't know if we'll ever come out of it, but that's fine.
I think we will.
As long as we realize that that's the first step. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous. You have to admit you have a problem. We have a problem. Let's admit it. Let's not try to make these fantasies up in our minds. We have a problem. What are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? And move forward from there.
Yeah, I think the only way we can really fix it is fix ourselves, like work on ourselves.
Step one.
So if you can get yourself to a happy place where you're finding the joy and the pretty things every day and making sure you are happy, that happy vibe tends to either spread to other people or irritate the shit out of them, one or the other.
And that's tough enough to do.
That's a vibe.
That's tough enough to do to make yourself happy and work on yourself is probably the toughest thing you can possibly do. Is try to get that in mind. So
it is, but it only takes 3 weeks to create this new neural pathway. So if you stick at it,
tell me about it.
Stick at
it. Both of you, it's April and Tony, right? That did. Somebody has to kick me in the ass about this gym thing. I need to get it together, right? 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Or you could do.
What do you think? I don't go to the gym, BRV? What the shit?
You too. I know I don't. That's all I know. I just know that I've spoken to April about it and I've spoken to Tony about it.
You could do a 40-day.
You may not have spoken to me, but I do.
I haven't spoken to you about it, but I'm
know,
more than happy to
but
do
I do
so.
go to the gym as well. I don't
April
go as
told
much
me,
as
she's like,
probably those two. Yeah.
She's like, you have to force yourself to go to the gym. Just do a little bit at a time. She knows how much I hate it because I hate
so
it.
do
Just
I.
schedule it. It's a schedule. You schedule it
is a
in like you do
schedule,
anything else. Like you schedule your podcast, you schedule the gym. Like between 2 and 2:45, I'm going to go work
I
out.
barely do those anymore, Hunter. I mean, April. I barely do those. You know,
Hunter.
so
She is a hunter. Yes.
I'm having a hard time doing
Tony
things
flex. Do a
nowadays.
flex.
That's it. Love you guys.
Oh,
Look at
damn.
that guy.
Wait.
Look at those two. I'm not even gonna bother.
No, I'm not either. Yes. Hey, I do have a question for you two gentlemen. Do both of you or either of you have ham radios?
No, but I need one.
Okay.
It's a good. I broadcast on shortwave, kind of a throwback.
Okay.
I have this I once a week. Actually, tomorrow is my show. I have the Arterburn radio transmission, and I do that show. It's kind of a throwback of my earlier work, and I just continue once a week. But I broadcast on WW3 Worldwide Christian Radio, which is was the home station of the late great Bill Cooper. So
Dope.
Cool.
I have some. I got some for. Actually, I didn't get them. A friend of mine got them for me during COVID. And he's in Queens. I'm in the Bronx. It's really not too far away, but it's far enough. And he got me a couple of radios. They're in my closet. I'm not sure that they work. I have to go ahead and test them out.
Yeah.
We tested them out in the beginning of all of this, and they worked at that point. But I haven't taken good care of them. So I think I'm due for to re-up on them and get some new ones. But definitely I want to have some.
Colin has requested that you flex your pecs.
Yeah.
Go on.
Colin, you're good, brother. Go ask Ray to flex his pecs.
Go on, BRV. You could probably put me to shame, right?
I can't even try, even if I wanted to. Like, what pecs? What am I gonna flex? And I don't have that type of dominance over that. That's all you, April. You do it. You got that. There you go. Look at that.
Shit.
Tony could probably outflex me.
I don't think so. I think you got me beat on that.
You'll just see like we and people.
Oh boy.
Why do you ask, Ava?
Huh?
Why do you ask?
I was just thinking, you know what? In times, I think we all should.
We should all get some.
We should all get some. And I've thought about this before during COVID. We do have some CB radios and stuff, but and I was also thinking the fact that with everything going on, we might find more information throughout ham radio right now of the truth through people to people contact. That's all.
No, that's a great idea. We need to do that. I got to test those out, and if they don't work, I got to get new ones, and we should all be in contact or whatever. That's dope.
It's not a bad idea. Usually, I try and get most of my news directly from word of mouth from people who are there and dealing with whatever they're dealing with. Like, hey, you're there in Ireland. What's happening? So from wrestling and the networks, I'll be like, okay, so you're in Germany. What's happening in the hospitals there? Or what's on the street? Or what's going on with the protests?
Right.
So, and people will be like, that's fake news. I'm like, it's not. So,
but I think about the fact that how they can shut down internet so quick and things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The only thing that's still reliable out there is either a shortwave, ham radio, all those things. That's what I was thinking of. So that's
you could fold it up and put it in a paper airplane and then just wing it. And
we could go back to paper notes.
Carrier pigeons. That's what we need.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Yes, that's why I brought it up, BRV.
So. We have taken up a lot of your time and we appreciate it. Tell everybody where they can find all of your stuff because
Oh, well, you can find me at just go to my website. It's tony.gold or arterburn.gold, same thing. And I have links to pretty much everything there. You can link to my company, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver, and of course Wolfpack, of which we proudly sponsor April and her show and all the things she does. So aprilhunter.gold for precious metal subscriptions, which is I'm really proud of what we do. I have a great team and we find some really interesting stuff to put into Wolfpack. I have a radio show, Arterburn Radio Transmission. Paratrooper is my podcast. If you like deep dives and hidden history and things that are not clickbait, then I would check out Paratruther. And I'm going to bring back my other podcast very soon, Wise Wolf Gold and Crypto Shows. If you want to go find it and like it in anticipation of some cool stuff coming out, please do so.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think people would, appreciate some financial guidance too. And thank you for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. BRV, where are they going to find you?
You can find me.
You're
with
not
Tony.
doing podcasts anymore.
You can find me with Tony on America Unplugged on Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern. I also do the Gorilla Underground. It's a fairly new show. I've been inconsistent with it, but we're going to try to stay consistent. I don't know how successful I'll be at that. And sometimes I get in front of the computer and decide I'm not doing this today, and I go somewhere else. So there's that. But I did an episode last week. I'm going to do an episode this week, Lord willing. Gorilla Underground on YouTube, and of course on my X feed. You can go follow me on X or look up Gorilla Underground on YouTube. You'll see my face there. That's me. There are several other Gorilla Undergrounds, but mine's is the only one that matters. So once you see my face, subscribe to that.
We can't see your face.
And yours is gorilla like the animal, not like gorilla like the fighter, right?
Like the
GOR.
animal.
There you go.
The silverback, baby. You know, that's what
just
we're doing.
making sure for people who are listening.
It's a silhouette of a gorilla head, and when a green hue around it, it's supposed to it's like the 4 and the 5 line here on in New York, the subway, the underground. So it's a play off on that. So if you see that, that's me.
And if you're around New York City, you might also run into BRV, not at the gym.
No. Do not go to Planet Fitness. Do not go to Equinox. Do not go to anything with a weight. You're not going to find me there. If they make good cakes, I'll be there. If they make, some fine chicken parm on some next level Italian, I'll probably be there. Say what's up if you see me. But if you're looking for me, you're not going to find me at a gym, at least not.
We're going to try and rectify that. We like BRV. We should be around for a while. Get you in the gym a little bit.
I need help.
So thanks you guys for being here. We really, really appreciate it. And
Thanks
to everybody. Yeah, well, we're going to replay this again in about 10 days. So again, the date here is, again, because who knows what's going to happen, but we are right here at March 11th, 2026. We appreciate you being here. If you cannot catch up with me, everybody listening, you can also find me on patreon.com, April Hunter. And we appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you, Eva, too. So I know it's late for you. So
love you guys. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Mwah. Lots of love. See you next Tuesday. Never gets old to say that.
Right.
Thanks, you guys.